I'm Suzanne Sibylla. I'm the owner of Sibylla and Associates, which is the premier leadership and employee development company.
Overcome obstacles, reframe your reality, love life, and have growth goals. Change and shift your energy. Pivot.
Welcome everyone. I'm Suzanne Sibylla, your host of Pivot Now, where we bring on exciting, interesting, and dynamic guests who will share with us their tips, tricks, and life and business hacks. Today, I am super excited to have this amazing and fun guest on our show today. She is a speaker, consultant, and a fun specialist. How great is that? How great is that? She is also the founder and CEO of the doctoroffun.com. Welcome to our show, Megan Bentzen. Come on down, Megan. Woo! So great to have you on our show. I love it. Woo!
What a fun introduction.
Let's go, Megan. Come on.
I'm the next contestant.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
How fun.
It's great to have you here. I know you have an amazing background. So I know that you have like 25 years experience in the corporate world and that you left the corporate world during the pandemic to create your own business. So tell us a little bit more about that. Tell us your backstory.
Oh my gosh. You know, it's so funny when I think about it because, man, 25 years goes by so fast.
Doesn't it?
I don't know how I wound up in corporate America because I definitely am the type of, I march to the beat of my own drum. And when I look back on that, I'm like, how did I last that long? But you know, this is what we're talking about today, right? Because sometimes we find ourselves, you know, I mean, in a situation that we may not always have planned for or, you know, but you're there. And so you got to make the best of it, right? So, yeah, I did spend 25 years in corporate America. And, you know, like I said, as someone that always likes to sort of do my own thing, it doesn't always work well in corporate America. And I often found myself, you know, either in trouble or, sometimes, okay, like here's a little story. Okay, just to give you an example of what I mean. One year I was in charge of planning a golf tournament for clients. And I had this idea to do this fun game at our hole. We were sponsoring a hole, right? And, you know, I told my boss, I was like, look, I think we should like do tequila shots and have people put marshmallow and he was like, oh God, no, like these are serious golfers. Like that is not a good idea. We need to, you know, just keep it simple. Well, of course, I did not listen. I brought out my bottle of tequila and marshmallows and hula hoops, and I'll tell you, we were the most popular hole on the golf course.
There you go. Wow.
People would come back to our hole after. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And so I think that, you know, while I went against what I was supposed to do, luckily the result was fun. And, you know, and so at that point, you know, once you can prove some success with something like that, then I was given a little more permission to do the fun stuff. But yeah, that sort of became my thing, was trying to make unfun things fun. Meetings, networking events, you know, how those can always be sort of awkward sometimes. And I would notice, I don't know if you ever experienced, you know, like either in a meeting or a networking event or a training, you know, you do a lot of training. People get so easily checked out and tuned out. And I would notice that, if we were doing a training, we'd spend thousands of dollars to bring in this speaker. And I'd look around the room and people would be on their phones and not paying attention. And you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, definitely. I know what you're talking about. That's why it's always great to have like icebreaker things or something that's really interactive, right? You got to keep the people engaged.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's usually the whole point of what we're doing, is to try to get engagement, try to get people interested in our product. So I would come up with these crazy games or networking games. And I had such a knack for it, but my clients loved me. So that was great. And I really wanted, my work to like create a position. Was like, hey, I should do this all the time. Like, you should fly me around. And I should be in charge of all the networking events. And anyway, they had other priorities. So, after it was 14 years, I was with this one company, and it was a Fortune 100. I mean, I had worked my way up the ladder, and found myself really having to play the game, for lack of a better, no pun intended, or maybe. But I always knew that there was something that I was meant for, and seeing what was happening in the industry. Okay, I'm going to play a game with you, Suzanne.
Okay, yeah, let's play a game. I want it. Let's do it.
How many?
Yeah.
What percentage of people do you think experience work-related stress?
Oh, boy. Probably like, I probably should know this, but probably more like 90%. I mean, I think it's a high number.
It's 83. Yeah, you're very close.
I know it's pretty high. Wow, 83%. That's
huge.
A high number.
Yeah. I know. And in the industry, I was in the medical industry, and especially the last few years, it's been especially trying, and a lot of employees experiencing burnout. So guess what the percentage of employees experiencing burnout?
Wow. So if it's 83%, I don't know, 75% or?
It's about 2/3. So what is that? Like 66%?
Oh, okay. 66. Wow. Experiencing burnout.
And burnout is, that's like you wake up and you don't want to go to work,
Right.
And that is sort of where I was finding myself. I had become like a work zombie, where you're just basically checking boxes and going through the motions. And it surprised me to see how many other people in corporate America were experiencing the same thing. And the last percentage that I'll throw at you, or that you try to guess, how many people are not even passionate about what they do?
Wow. I would say that's even a higher number. I'd probably say more like the 83% or 85% are not passionate about what they do. I think it's a high number.
It's over 80%.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And it's so crazy because, if you don't have passion for what you do and you're experiencing stress every day, that's where we spend most of our waking hours is working.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's kind of where I found myself. And more so, I had found some ways to make my work fun. Like I told you, I was making the networking events. And doing all
tequila shots.
All right. But for me, the bigger reason for me leaving was feeling like, okay, this needs to be on a bigger scale. Like, we need to figure out how to bring more fun to the workplace, because when people are having fun, they're more engaged, they're bought in, more productive, more energy, more enthusiasm. So that's really my mission now, is to inject fun back into the workplace. I say that the real way to get serious results is to get serious about fun
I love that. I love that, Megan. Get serious about fun. That is so cool. That is so great too, because it's so true, right? Once you're having fun, like a lot of times you don't even notice the time going by, right? Because you're just enjoying it, you're having fun, you're engaged in the process. And so if we can make the companies that people work in, a fun place and a fun environment, they're going to want to go into work, right? It's going to increase their level of productivity, reduce the level of burnout, and people are going to feel passionate about going into work. I just love what you do. I think it's so great what you do. So tell us a little bit more about what you do within the organizations. Like how do you go about doing that? How do you go about creating that level of fun within an organization?
Well, I think it's important to mention that when we talk about fun, it doesn't mean like you're cracking jokes all day or you're putting on a clown costume. I mean, it's not about being childish and not taking work seriously. This is all about being in a happy mental state so that you can give your business your best.
Love that. Yep.
Yeah. Because
we're not going to be wearing clown noses or things like that,
I mean, you can. But seriously, I mean, there's kind of like this idea that fun is unprofessional, and that if people are having fun, that work's not getting done. And it really couldn't be farther from the truth. So I have it's sort of like a philosophy or a methodology, and I call it my play to win approach. P.L.A.Y.
Wow. Love it. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, you literally have to play. And I mean, like, play, have fun to win. And you win in business, in life, in relationships. I mean, it's all aspects because they all affect each other, right? You have a bad day at work, you bring that home, you get in a fight with your spouse. I mean,
it's all interrelated. Yep.
Everything bleeds over.
Yeah. So this part of our segment of our show, we actually go right into what's called 3, 2, 1, go. So it's give us 3 tips, 2 techniques, and 1 action item we can take to pivot our own life or business. And so you were starting to talk about the play method. Tell us a little bit more about that. I know you can talk to us about your, again, the 3 tips, 2 techniques, and 1 action item we can take. So tell us more.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try to fit into that 3, 2, 1, but here we go. So it's a play to win. So P.L.A.Y. The P stands for perspective. So this is all about getting a perspective on some common myths. So one myth out there, I think, is this idea of creating work-life balance because that doesn't exist. Like we just talked about, we spend more of our waking hours working than doing anything else. So this idea that you have to balance work and life implies that work and life are 2 opposite things. For most people, their work is their life. And so you're kind of set up to lose from the beginning. So we have to sort of shift our perspective on this idea of work-life balance and the pursuit of happiness, this idea that happiness and joy is something to be pursued or something to be earned, or it's what happens at the end, right? But the end of what? So this whole notion of pursuing like we can choose happiness, we can choose joy and laughter anytime. And the idea that happiness comes easy. We look around and we see everybody on social media having the time of their lives, or, that happy people have it so easy. But the reality is that everybody has stuff. Like we all have this tough stuff. It's just a matter of how you handle it. If you're waiting for like life to get easy, you got to shift your perspective. So the P is all about shifting your perspective. And the L is about lightening up. Adopt an attitude of latitude. And this means to stop taking yourself so seriously. Because there's enough tough stuff out there that we have to deal with every day. So we have to deal with it anyway. So you might as well lighten up and lead with levity, I like to say. Because, okay, I'll ask you this is another game, Suzanne. Laughter.
Okay.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Thousands of people have been surveyed, and the top 9 answers are on the board.
Love it.
Name a benefit of laughter. What do you think?
What was this now?
Name a benefit of laughter.
Oh, benefit of laughter? Yeah, health reasons, right? In fact, I'm going to tell you a story. So my husband is experiencing some heart conditions, right? And his pulse has been at like 150, 160. Like we were at the ER last week. He's doing okay. He's doing okay.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we do, like right now, what we do is I have him watch videos that are like comedy videos, funny videos, and it's amazing. His pulse started to lower. His pulse started to get lower, and his blood pressure started to lower as well. So there's definitely medical benefits to laughter. Definitely. I know
I love that
you
you
just written about that way back, like in the 70s. Norman Cousins wrote a book because he was going through cancer treatments. And so he started to watch all of these comedy movies and shows and things like that. He wouldn't watch any news. He wouldn't watch any drama, anything that was intense or serious. He would watch things that were lighthearted and would make him laugh. And do you know that his cancer was in remission? Like his cancer was cleared.
Yes.
And he attributes it to all of the times that he was laughing and bringing that into his body, into his environment, the sense of laughter, the sense of fun, the sense of,
tell that story. I love that you just told that story, Suzanne. That is the exact example I was going to give when you were talking about your husband.
Really? Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Because he wrote his book, Norman Cousins, Anatomy of an Illness.
Yes.
And he was given 3 months to live.
Mm.
He had a diagnosis and he was given 3 months to live. And he lived another 23 years.
Wow.
It was
amazing.
the most incredible story. And I love that you're doing that with your husband because laughter will lower blood pressure. There's so many, it burns calories. Hello.
Love that.
There's so many benefits to it, not just physical and health wise, but mental as well. It releases endorphins, mood enhancing chemicals into your brain. And there's just so many great things. And we just don't laugh enough.
It's so true. It seems like we become adults or something. And then we put on this, I don't know, persona like, oh, we got to be serious now. Right. And then especially in corporations, I find it's like, okay, we got to be a certain way. And the whole thing about laughter, I think it's so important. It's so important. It's so important what the work you're doing as well. So can you give us more of an example of how to use that levity? For example, when you are in a challenging situation or when you're feeling burnt out, let's say, for our audience here, I know many of us are in businesses, we're in corporations, and many of us can feel that level of burnout. So can you give us some example of how to use that levity when you're in that challenging situation?
Yeah, and it's perfect because the A stands for apply.
There you go.
Exactly.
Leading question, right?
Very good. It was like, you have to learn to use fun as a professional tool and not look at it as unprofessional or a waste of time or a distraction from work. Because just incorporating that sense of humor or that lightheartedness allows us to, not take our mistakes so seriously or not take others so seriously. There's so much negativity out there and defensiveness, and people are just so aggressive, on social media. And there's just a lot of anger out there. And so I think just adopting that attitude of latitude and really just, you got to take a moment, and it's almost like a reality check. And it doesn't mean that we don't react or get mad. Just ask my husband. Okay. I get mad. But we don't live there. Okay. Just don't live there. you got to, you can have your reaction, but then the next reaction is got to be more conscious, okay? Because sometimes we just unconsciously react to things, and we want to stay mad, or we want to stew, or we just want to drown in our sorrows, or play the victim. And it's very easy to fall into that. And so it takes work. It definitely does. And so to develop the habit, you got to set yourself up to win. So you can surround yourself with things that bring a smile to your face, that bring laughter. So for a long time, I would have little Post-it notes, either like little jokes, little funny pictures, memes, things. Because when you're mad, or when you're experiencing burnout or any kind of trauma, you're not thinking of, oh, I got to find something funny,
Right.
So you got to just surround yourself. You got to put things. I've had, notes on my mirror, on my computer, use sticky notes. I mean, my husband knew I told him to play this one song if I was in a bad mood, because it always makes me happy. So you got to use these tools to create, to bring a smile to your face and to remind you. And one thing that I definitely recommend doing, and I know, a lot of people talk about making a gratitude list. When you can actually find gratitude in the things that are the tough stuff, like the things that, like what you're experiencing with your husband right now, that's got to be, you got to just be wondering, like, why is this happening? But things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And so if you can figure out or find some lesson, some gift, some silver lining, that's where the gold is. That's how you make that shift, because, it's always going to keep coming. The stuff is always going to keep piling on. And so you have to just find a way to change your perspective on it.
I love that, Megan, because that is so true. I mean, I say that to my clients all the time, as well as when they're going through a challenging situation. A lot of times you'll look back on it, and that will be where most of the growth will take place.
It's so true.
You can see that, in your own life, in your own personal life, business life, is a lot of times when you're in a challenging situation, you might feel like really upset at the time. But when you look back on it, it is the most growth has occurred. And like you said, it doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. So look at what lessons you've learned, what you've gained through it. And I love what you said. What are the gifts in that as well? So beautiful. So beautiful. So what is the why in your P.L.A.Y? What is the why?
The Y stands for you squared.
Okay. Yeah.
Because when you are joyful and laughing, I mean, it's contagious, right? And so when you are joyful and laughing and happy, it multiplies. And so spread some joy, spread some happiness. So the why is all about that. It all starts with you.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. That's so great.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I love that. I love that aspect, that it does depend on you, because I tell that to my clients all the time too. It's how you are as a person, how you be, if you will, how you become, and you generate that energy. So if you have that energy of like excitement, dynamism, or just that energy of like love, if you will, and you gravitate that, you energize that out to the world, people notice that and they're attracted to that kind of energy. And also in the contrary sense, if you're like depressed, upset, sad, angry, you also generate that kind of energy as well. And then there are people that are like, oh, I don't want to be around that. Right. So it really is amazing the kind of energy that one has and can gravitate, towards people. You attract the kind of people that you want to attract. So that I think that whole thing is about you, right, is so important. What is it, about you? Like, do you have that happiness? Do you have that sense of laughter, sense of fun? You will gravitate towards people that are like that. And that also you'll bring that energy to others as well. So I love that aspect.
If you were to walk down a hallway and you passed a door and inside people were like angry and yelling or crying or just, you know, and then you walk by another room and people were laughing and smiling and singing. I mean, which room do you want to go into?
Yeah, there you go. Right.
But, you know, I want to make the point that a lot of times the why is very important because it starts with you. And a lot of times we depend on other people or other circumstances for our happiness. And that's kind of like that myth I was talking about with the pursuit of happiness, or just, you know, that it's what happens at the end, or like you reach this point and all of a sudden then you'll be happy. But it very much starts with you, and it's a decision. It's just a choice. You know, I mean, you can wake up today and decide to be miserable and complain and have, you know, you should see my desk. I am surrounded by piles of papers. I mean, I got to do this. I got to deal with this stuff so I can be miserable and complain about it, or I can turn it into a game.
And there you go. Yeah. There you go. I love that. Yeah, you can make the choice. Yeah, you can make the choice to be happy or sad. Which is really important because a lot of times, I mean, I work with a lot of clients that have anxiety or they feel really depressed. And a lot of times I say, you can make that choice in terms of your emotion. And a lot of times they say, what do you mean? I can make the choice? I say, yeah, because your thoughts impact your emotions, which ultimately impact your behaviors and your results. So if you want different results in your life, you got to look at what your thoughts are behind that. And you can make those choices. Wow, revolutionizing, right?
Yeah. It's like, it's so simple. You know, I know you and I do a lot of this type of work, you know, it's emotional intelligence, and it's like, they don't teach this stuff in school, you know? Right. And so not a lot of it surprises me all the time that people don't realize that they have a choice in the matter.
There you go. So we want to talk also about your 2 techniques and then one action item that we can take to move us forward.
Yeah. Okay. So the techniques basically, when you asked me earlier about like, how can you incorporate this into your job? And so, you know, to get specific, I mentioned, like, I like to gamify stuff. Gamification is like, you know, it's a new buzzword, right? Because there's just something about when you turn something into a game, it makes it fun and competitive, and it just creates some energy and enthusiasm. And the cool thing is, you don't need to play with someone else.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah. So like this pile of papers I have here, I'll set a timer. I'll, you know, create a goal, or there's lots of ways that you can turn unfun things fun and make it into a game, because we all have dreadful things that we have to deal with. I have a lot of undone projects around my house. I don't know if you can relate, but it drives me crazy to walk from room to room like, oh God, I need to do that and I need to do that. So I wrote them all down and I put them in a jar, and it's called the project jar. And once a month, I reach in, draw one out, and that's my project for the month. And so I have the month to get it done. And so, you know, it's just a little more fun way to make a little task list. You can apply that to your work, to your personal life. So yeah, gamification is definitely a technique. And I guess the second thing would be to find the joy, find the laughter. You know, it's going back to that using fun as a professional tool. Last night, my husband and I were in the kitchen and we were making dinner, and we had Christmas music on. And so then we just started singing everything we were saying. And we were just cracking each other up because neither of us can sing. And so just something as silly as that, you know, like bust out a silly dance, make yourself laugh. It is so, once it takes practice, because you might feel silly, you might feel awkward at first, but you can practice making yourself laugh. I crack myself up all the time.
Megan, I love that.
Practice laughter. Yeah. Practice laughter. And then the action item, play to win. Play to win. Play, and I mean like literally play to win. and it's in all areas, business, life, and relationships. It is, I mean, it is life-changing. It really is a life-changing approach. As we've talked about, it's having a positive effect with your husband. I love hearing that. It saved Norman Cousin's life. I mean, I have so many examples of stories of businesses that incorporated fun, where their productivity went up, profitability went up, the loyalty, employee loyalty goes up. I just
Give us an example of that. You were saying you know so many businesses. Can you give us an actual real
sure.
life example of that?
So I'll give you an example of a no-name company as a factory in Utah, because I have, of course, we all know like Google and Zappos and, like these big companies that incorporate a lot of fun into their businesses. So this was a little factory in Utah, and one of the workers came to one of the managers and said, "Hey, if we hit our goal 2 hours early today, can we all go outside and fly paper airplanes?" And the manager was like, "No way." And so then he said, "Okay, well, what if we hit 150% of our goal?" So the manager was like, "Okay," thinking they've got nothing to lose there. So at 3:00, they hit the goal, and everyone ran outside to play. But the irony in the story is that when the CEO found out about this, his comment was, "Imagine what you could have accomplished if you didn't take 2 hours to goof off." Oh my gosh. Okay, but then they continued doing this, and he finally caught on to the fact that it was the fun that was creating that increase in productivity. So that's just one little example that I love to use, because even after proving it, the CEO was still just like thinking that fun was a waste of time and not realizing that the fun was the driver of the productivity. So that's
I know in a lot of companies, like you mentioned, Google and some of the like Salesforce, some of these, big high tech companies, they do have that in their areas, like in their lounge areas, they'll have ping pong tables and, fun places so that, employees can interact with each other and have that sense of fun. So it's not just like, okay, we're going to sit in my cubicle for a couple of hours and do, get my laptop and work away. Right. It's like they have that sense of fun. So I think it's so, like you're saying, it's so important to have that throughout your life.
And it
business,
really, it's like, it's an attitude more than just, I mean, it's not like putting a ping pong table in the break room is going to solve the problem. It's an attitude of trust and a culture of trust that, employees need to feel safe to let loose a little bit and to have some fun and to make mistakes and to, to learn and to grow and to have enthusiasm for their work. When they are micromanaged and punished and, threatened, that creates an atmosphere of fear, and people operating from fear you don't get the kind of results that you do when people are operating from a place of joy. Really, it's more of an attitude. Fun is an attitude.
There you go. Yeah. Fun is an attitude. Love it. So in this part of our show, we actually go into 5 favorites, your favorites, right? So I'd like to hear your favorite. What is your favorite fun?
Oh my God, games. And
oh my God, games, like duh.
Yeah, I've got a whole.
Is there a specific game that you like or that you enjoy playing? Or tell us.
Oh God. Okay, you know what? I have this here because this is a fun, easy thing that anybody can do to any event, really. If you're having the family over for, Christmas dinner or New Year's or whatever you celebrate, or if you're having a company party, this game is so simple and so easy, and it evokes so much laughter and fun. Okay, so you get some beads. Okay. And everybody, when when they come in, everybody puts on one string of beads.
Uh-huh.
I have two here. You only put on one. Okay. And
Okay.
then you come up with some words. So, maybe the word might be Christmas or game or drink or work. You want it to kind of be a little bit related to the circumstance, that. So
Okay. Yeah.
okay. And you write the word on like a piece of paper and then you stick it on the wall. And the rules are you can't say the word. And so the cool thing about this game is that you don't have to stop and say, okay, everybody, we're going to play a game. It just happens in the background. And you don't realize how much fun it is until all of a sudden someone says the word and then everyone's like, you hear just this eruption of screams and someone will be like, oh, you said it. And then you take their beads. Okay. So when someone says the word, then you take their beads. So then by the end of the night, someone's got like 20 beads around their neck. Right. And it becomes so hilarious and it sounds so simple and stupid, but for some reason, this game is always, I do this at every function that I host because it's so simple and it's so fun and it can just happen in the background. So give this one a try.
That sounds great. I love it.
I call it buzzword. It's super easy. And you can add words throughout the night. So, like by the end of the night, you might have 3 or 4 words that people can't say. But anyway.
That's cool. Love it. I love it. I got to try that one out. Definitely. That sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds great. So what is your favorite fitness? Your favorite fitness?
I hate working out. You know what? I do it because I'm committed to it, and I know it's going to keep me healthy. And I love dessert, so I have to work out. So I find I have to have my music on because that at least makes it more enjoyable. But every day I have besides doing my actual workout, I have a commitment to 10,000 steps a day. And I have my little step watch and I track it. And so a lot of times it's tougher than you think, especially if you sit at a computer all day. And so what I find myself doing when I'm on the phone or when getting every opportunity that I can to move. We got to move our bodies, people. So keep moving. So that's
there
probably
you go. Love that. Yeah, I just did my steps this morning. It was so foggy outside. You couldn't even see in front of you. Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, got those steps in. So important. Yeah, get that physical activity in. So what's your favorite film? Your favorite film?
My favorite film. Oh my gosh, we love movies here. Okay, so since it's this time of the year, I wouldn't probably normally pick this one, but since it's this, Christmas time, Elf.
I love Elf. I knew you were going to say that because I was like, Elf. It's got to be Elf. I love Elf.
Because it's so freaking hilarious. And he is like the epitome of, just like happy-go-lucky, right? You look at Elf. He's got problems, right? I mean, he was raised by elves. He's a human. His dad disowned him, but he's still got this great happy attitude. So I love that movie.
I love that movie. We watch it every year during this time of year. We watch it every year. So I love that movie. My favorite too. I knew you were going to say that. In fact, when you were saying, I was like, oh, I know what movie it's going to be. So what's your favorite find? Your favorite find?
My favorite find? Oh my God. This is so cool. I found a genuine handcrafted, I had it custom made for me. It's a Plinko board. Have you ever played the game Plinko?
No, I haven't. I don't even
know if this is what you mean by find, but I'm just going with it because I'm so excited about this because now, okay, talk about gamifying. So it has custom slots at the bottom. Like I can put on little cards in all, Plinko, right? You drop the marble in and it goes through all the, and lands in one of the slots. So hello, people, you got, 10 different things that you're avoiding. Put them in your Plinko board, drop the ball, then see which one you got to do first.
That's great.
Turn everything into a game. It just adds this element of fun. I love
I
using
love
it.
that.
Yeah.
That's great, Megan. So cool. And the last, your favorite food. Your favorite food.
Cookies. That's
Cookies.
easy. Any dessert, really. Like, I have a major sugar sweet tooth, but yeah, give me a fresh, warm, soft cookie and I'm done. Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. So tell us where we can find you, Megan. I know after the show, we'll have all your social media accounts posted and everything, but we want to know more as to where can we find you? And do you have anything going on that we can join in?
Yeah, I have a few things. Okay, so first of all,
Okay.
the
Tell us.
doctoroffun.com. The doctoroffun.com, all spelled out. That's my
Okay.
website. I have all my links there. I have this is a fun little gift that I want to give to your viewers. It's my Funometer, and it will help you figure out if you are overdosed on stress or off the charts fun. So it's my little quiz. It's like a personal fun health assessment. And it's free and it's on my website, thedoctoroffun.com. So if you go there and you can take the little quiz and find out where you fall on the fun scale and how to incorporate, there's some tips and ideas on how to incorporate more fun and joy into your life because it's so important. It is so important to find joy and laughter every day.
Love it. That sounds great. Yeah, I'm going to look that up. That sounds really great. I'm going to take your little funometer. It sounds really fantastic. So, do you have any closing remarks or comments or any other tips to give
I
us?
do. I don't know. Do I have time for a quick little story?
Yeah. Yes, you do. Yes,
Okay.
you do.
I'm going to tell the story because this always makes me laugh, and I think we can all relate to this. Okay. It's called The Navy Captain. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a Navy captain who was at sea, and he was alerted by his first mate that there was a pirate ship heading their way. And he looks at the first mate and he says, "Get me my red shirt." And the first mate looks at him and says, "Why do you need a red shirt?" And he says, "That way, when I bleed, the men won't notice and won't get discouraged." So the pirates come, the men fight courageously, and eventually the pirates retreat. The next day, the captain is alerted that there are now 50 pirate ships heading their way. He looks at his first mate and he says, "Get me my brown pants." You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, we all have days when we need to put on our brown pants, right?
Mm-hmm.
So stuff is just going to keep coming. And the best you can do is strap on those brown pants and just go for it, right? And I guarantee you that if you look around, because a lot of times we do comparisitis, right? And we look around at everyone else and we think, you know, it must be nice. They've got it so easy, or they're always so happy all the time. I guarantee you, you just look and see what color pants they're wearing. Everybody's got stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's got stuff. So
There you go.
it's all about how you choose to handle it, right? So
So
choose
true.
joy,
So
choose
true.
laughter.
Yeah, I love that. Love that, Megan. So great. So great to have you on our show. I just loved everything you said. And yeah, laughter is so important. We got to have laughter in our life. That's so great. So, and want to tell everyone to continue watching our show. We're here every Tuesday, Pivot Now, and we have wonderful, exciting, dynamic guests like Megan. So continue to watch our show. And you could also see me on SibyllaCoaching.com. You can also, if you need coaching services, you need training at your company, contact me, Suzanne Sibylla, again at SibyllaCoaching.com, and we're here for you. So, well, again, have a great day. Have a laughter day, right, Megan?
Yes,
have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Suzanne.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. So great to have you. So great to have you.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Change and shift your energy. Pivot